Good day, beautiful people. I am Chantel Branch, your self love specialist. I am Chantel Branch, your self love specialist. Good day, beautiful people. This is the Candlelight Vigil to honor the loved ones that we have lost from domestic violence. The purpose of this candlelight vigil is to remind families that they are not alone, that we are here to support families, and that we stand together, united in solidarity, remembering the loved ones. And although it was a tragic loss, their memories still hold on to our hearts. And even if it feels like the memory is fading, there is always a way to tap back into your loved one. Having conversations surrounding domestic violence in our families is not the norm, but we are affected every day. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 7 men have or will experience domestic abuse, some type of physical abuse from an intimate partner in their lifetime. Domestic violence affects all of us, whether it is indirectly or directly. It affects us. And oftentimes, we do not know how to recover or progress or transition or move forward. And oftentimes, family members are stuck, are still processing and walking through the grieving process. And we at MFF Project, My Fearless Future Project, want you to know that we see you and we honor you. My life was saved because someone died. My life and the baby inside of my stomach was saved because someone died. And I never forget being in that funeral. It was the hardest experience in death that I have ever experienced. And I was in such a deep, dark depression at this moment. But I knew that life, that her life saved mine. Her life saved 2 people that she didn't even know were going to show up that day and weep and cry because the loss was so tragic. But it was that day, and it was in that despairing place that I knew that I could be next. And I remember being 8 months pregnant. Actually, I was almost 9 months pregnant, and I was just about 4 weeks away from delivery. And that is why I do the candlelight vigils. because so many people are affected, but oftentimes we're not strong enough to share our stories or to help the next person or the next family. And it was her life that saved mine. And I'll tell you how, because when I was sitting in that funeral in a deep state of depression, weeks away from delivering the child, at that moment, in my weakest, my darkest, I knew that I could be next. For me, the inevitable of death by the man that I was in a relationship with, that I was living with every single day, that reality hit me right there in my deepest, darkest state of depression, weeks, merely weeks before I was due to deliver my child. I was sitting in a funeral, and she unfortunately died a very tragic death. And it was in that moment that I knew that death was inevitable for me, and I knew who was going to take my life. And I also knew that the children, the baby that I was carrying, would be abandoned. And it was in this moment, as I'm sitting in this funeral and they are carrying in her baby, her 1 month old baby. As they carried that baby in, we couldn't do anything but weep. And we were all weeping and mourning. And I was not only mourning her, but I was mourning me, because at that moment I could not see me or see a way out for us. And that is why we do the candlelight vigils, because we want to remember the loved ones. And I remember her. I remember hanging out with her as teenagers. And who would have thought, even as young girls growing up, who would have thought that we would come this way, pick a mate, and that one day she will no longer be with us. This is why we do the candlelight vigils. Mothers, fathers, parents that know what happened. I'm so sorry. But parents that have lost a loved one, their daughter, their son. Mothers have lost their sons because a woman has decided to take their life. I want you to stop overlooking what's in front of you. If you are facing, or if you are living in a physical, emotional, verbal, financial, domestic violence relationship, there is help for you. You can dial the number 800-799-SAFE. There is help for you. There are organizations that help you do safety planning. There is help for you. There are resources and tools to help you get to your next. My next was living in a shelter, was getting to the shelter. I had to make the decision to leave and get to the shelter. And let me tell you, I was 9 months pregnant and weeks away from giving birth. And it will be another 7 months before I made my great escape. And it was because I had faced death. And when you face it and you are brought back to life, you come back with a different mindset, with a different outlook. And the strength that you thought that you didn't have, it empowers you and it fuels you to leave that situation. But I want to encourage you that if that is you, whether you are male or female, I want to remind you that abuse has no color. I want to remind you that you are valuable and you are worth living in a life that is full of peace and love and joy and kindness and goodness and gentleness and meekness and temperance. That you are worth living in an environment that you can thrive in, that not only that you can survive in, but that you can be your most authentic self. You deserve to live your best life. And I want to tell you that the choice is yours. The moment that you make a decision, I made a decision as I sat inside of that funeral. I made a decision, and it took me months after, till my daughter was 7 months old, to walk away, to run away. I didn't walk, I ran. I ran away. I want to encourage you to do it now. Call the number now. Begin your safety planning now. You know the person that you're living with that is abusing you day in and day out. You know them better than anybody else. So today, this year, 2023, as you are walking towards it, it is the year of you. It is the year that you will do great things. It is the year that you will move and shift and pivot. And to the families, my hope and my prayer is that in 2023, that even today as you are listening, that you begin to experience a level of peace that you have never experienced before. That when you think about your son or your daughter, that there is a peace that passes over you. There's a peace that rests upon you. There's a peace in your talk. There is a peace in your walk. That there is a peace in your home. And I even pray that you begin to have peace in your heart. And I pray that you have made peace. You've made peace with this thing. And I know that it is hard, and I know that it is uncomfortable, and I know that it is an overwhelming impact of emotion. But I am decreeing, I declare that you shall have peace this moment forward, because families and loved ones are still living and still dealing. And everybody else goes on about their day, goes on about their life. And sometimes people forget, oftentimes people forget that there is a loved one. And that is why we light a candle today for the loved ones that we have lost to domestic violence. My hope is that you have peace in the midst of your storm, that you have peace in the midst of it all. And I hope that we can begin to have the conversations surrounding physical, mental, emotional, domestic abuse. Today's Candlelight Vigil, we honor the loved ones that fought and lost, that were not able to get away. We honor you. We remember you. And we honor your loved ones. We remember your loved ones and family and friends. This candlelight vigil is for the good times and for the memories of when they made you laugh. The memories that you still get to hold on to. And you get to remember their heart, and you get to share their lives with others. You get to use their life to speak out, to speak up. And I am here, Chantel Branch, your self-love specialist, remembering loved ones that have lost their lives to domestic violence. We honor you and we love you. Thank you so much for being a part of the October 2022 Candlelight Vigil. My hope and my prayer, may you have peace in the morning, peace in the noonday, peace as you go to sleep, and may you have peace when you wake up. May your heart now be settled. May the dust be shaken from your feet. May you no longer suffer or tarry any longer in the grieving process. May your heart be soothed on today. We love you. I love you. I honor you. I cherish you. I uplift you. And most of all, we remember the loved ones that we have lost. And we smile on today. I know it's painful. I know it's hard. And oftentimes it feels like a heavy weight. And my prayer is that weight, that anchor of weight and grief be removed from you. And may peace attach itself to you. So good day, and thank you for tuning in to the Candlelight Vigil of October 2022, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I am Chantel Branch, your self-love specialist. Please share this with someone else. Please share this with a loved one that needs to be reminded that you are loved and that your grief will fall from you and that you shall be anchored to peace. Good day.